You're listening to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast.
Welcome to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast. And now your host, Meliss-Ep.
Hey, everybody. Today, I'm talking about how your mess is your message. And maybe you've heard about this before a lot online. People talk about this, or maybe this is a new concept to you. But your mess is your message is really something that resonates with me just based on my life. So what I want to do today is just give you 3 different examples of how your mess can be your message and how you can help use that in your marketing. And then I want to give you a recommendation for a movie that I just saw, which is really great and relates to this theme. So your mess is basically your life. Everybody's life has ups and downs. Nobody's life is perfect. Regardless of what people are showing you on social media, maybe they're showing you that their life is perfect and they've got everything in order and they're always dressed up nice and their kids always behave and their marketing is flawless and they're making millions of dollars. But that might just be that their business life is good, or maybe just their love life is good, or maybe their financial life is good, but there are several different pieces to our life, and nobody has all of them at a perfect 10. There's no such thing as perfect. So that means that there are things that are not as great for you, and also for these people who show up online pretending everything is hunky-dory. And so what I want you to do is think about what it is that's not great for you, or in the past that hasn't been great for you. And I want you to use that to your advantage. So, for example, I'm a single mom. I was in a very terrible relationship, and I had to run away in the middle of the night with my kids. And that might seem like, oh my gosh, your life's so hard. I can't believe you had to do that. And while I was going through that, I could have wallowed in my self-pity, stayed really sad and depressed, and just been really upset all the time and stuck in this negativity. But instead, I turned it around. I actually created a life coaching company before my marketing company, which helped people get out of these types of relationships or these types of mindset, really. And I used it to my advantage. Another example, a very harsh example, is someone who is in a domestic violent situation, a very physically abusive relationship. And if this is triggering for you, you can just skip ahead a couple of minutes. But you might actually want to listen to this because it might help you out. So if you were in a domestic violence situation and, you've become somebody else's punching bag. You've become somebody else's punching bag, and your self-esteem is really low, and you have no confidence, and you're crying all the time, and you feel horrible about yourself, and so you can't put yourself out there, and you never have a say in your relationship. You've really turned into the yes woman. You just say yes all the time to avoid a fight. Things are really, really bad, and you don't know who to turn to because you don't think anyone wants to hear about it, or you feel really scared that if you were to leave or you were to talk about it, someone was going to come after you and it was going to be even worse than it is now, so you just stay there. Okay, this was somebody's situation that I actually know. What happened? Well, one of 2 things can happen from this. Number 1, you could leave the relationship and, many things can happen. You can leave the relationship and stay sorry for yourself. You can leave the relationship and become empowered. You could stay in the relationship and continue to feel stuck and alone. So these are your 3 options. Now, when it comes to your marketing, whatever business you're in, if you're building a personal brand, being authentic means being vulnerable and opening up. When you're authentic, your creativity flows. When you're authentic, people who have that Me Too, that similar situation to you, they're going to flock to you. And so I want you to be able to use your mess, this whole mess that I just described, to your advantage and make that your message so that you can be inspirational and you can be empowered. You can help other people go through what you went through. So this person that I know chose to do just that. Instead of feeling sorry for herself forever and being stuck in that negative mindset. She flipped the switch, turned into a very positive thing. Yes, she left her husband. She left that bad relationship behind. And during that process, it was really hard. So you could document the process and you could talk about it online. In that particular situation, that probably isn't the safest thing to do. But once you've gone through it and you're on the other end, it is time to open up and use your mess as your message. So this woman I know started a foundation for battered women. She speaks all the time to high school women, high school students, females, about how to avoid the signs of an abusive relationship, and talks about saying yes and saying no and speaking up for what you need and what you deserve. And she also donates regularly to battered women's shelters. And she posts on Facebook all the time about her experience so that she can help others come through that. Now, we need people like this in the world. We need role models who can be people we can look up to, people we can reach out to in times of need, and people who are relatable and understand what we're going through. And it kind of gives us this power to say, she did it, I can do it too. So you use that to your advantage in your marketing. You tell your story and you don't say, oh, no one wants to hear about this. This is horrible. I'll keep this secretive. No one will know anything about my life and I'm just going to sell my products. When you have two people in the same industry and one has a messy life that they're sharing and one has probably a messy life that they're not sharing, more people are going to flock to the one who is vulnerable, able to open up and speak up, because that is empowering, that is inspirational, and people flock to inspiration. Another example is a disabled man, someone who's unable to walk. He was in a car accident and he, never really was the same after that. And there are two ways that this man can go. Number one, he could say that he's disabled and define that as himself. His definition of himself is, I am disabled, I am paralyzed, or I am not functioning properly, I'm no good, everyone should take care of me, everyone should do everything for me, I should be everyone's priority. And it becomes a very selfish thing, as opposed to saying, I'm not what I was before, but I am a new version of me now. How can I help other people? How can I use my disadvantages, my mess, to encourage and inspire other people? Use it as a message. How can I help others even when I am at my lowest point? And that's one thing that, the universe really opens up doors when you're able to give, even when you feel like you can't. There have been times in my life as a single mom where we had only $25 in my bank account and I still had 4 more days before the next paycheck, and I needed to make food for my kids and put food on the table. And it was scary. I only have $25 in my bank account. I have 2 kids that need things for school, that need food. One of them needed socks, which even at Walmart is like $12. That'd be half of the money I had. What did I do? Maybe something outrageously crazy. I went to Walmart and I spent $20 of the $25 for bread and paper bags and giant peanut butter and giant jelly and some fruit. And I spent all of this money with the intention of having my kids and I make lunch bags for homeless people. And we made it into an activity. I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for each of us, so we had our bellies full. And then we made 50 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, wrapped them in bags, wrote love notes, love messages on the outside of the bags, and we drove into town where a lot of homeless people hang out here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we walked around and handed out lunch to over 50 people. Why? Not because I don't care about my kids and I want to make sure that they don't have food on the table, obviously, but because when there is not a lot left and we clench up and we say, there's not enough here and we're lacking. What we are doing is we are inviting the universe to give us back what we are putting out. And if we're putting out a sense of lack, then we are going to receive lack. But if we put out a sense of abundance, I have $25, I'm going to spend 20 of it to feed 50 people. Let's do it. I have an abundance of money. And I give and give and give, the universe is going to bring back that same energy. And sure enough, I closed a sale a day later that brought me $1,000. So yes, it's a little freaky and you get a little scared, but there are ups and downs in life. So I used my mess as my message. I myself didn't have enough money. That's my mess. Let's inspire people who are even worse off than I am and living on the streets. And it worked. And I was rewarded by the universe with a sale of $1,000. So I want you to think about this. When you have hard times going on, hardships, frustrations, overwhelm, lack of funds, maybe chaos from an ex, whatever it is, know that you can overcome it. You were put here on this world for a purpose. And if you consistently work towards your goals, you will achieve what you are working on. So you just have to think about that positivity all the time. Use your mess as your message to guide others, to teach, to inspire, to encourage, and the universe will return you tenfold of abundance and everything that you are trying to work on. So before I go, I want to end by letting you know of this movie I just saw. It's actually on Netflix. My coach requested that I watch it, suggested that I watch it, and I'm glad I did because it's not a movie I would have otherwise seen. It's called Dawn Wall, Dawn Wall. I recommend you all watch it. I loved it. I loved it so much that I wanted to show it with my kids, and I will be watching it again this weekend with my kids, my 11 and 12-year-old. I'll say that the beginning of the movie, little tiny kids might not want to watch, but the rest of it is fine for everybody else. I am fine showing my kids what goes on. So you might want to watch the first 15 minutes on your own before you decide if you want to share it with your kids. But it's a great movie about determination and overcoming hardships, overcoming the mess and turning it into the message. So I love this movie, Dawn Wall. It's free on Netflix, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. But as of today, it is free on Netflix. And I suggest you go watch it because it will inspire you, if nothing else. I hope this helps. I hope you use your mess as your message and make all of those seeds that you're planting in your business grow and come to fruition through this. Talk to you soon. If you loved this episode, head over to iTunes to subscribe and leave us a review so we can reach more people and share our content with those that can benefit most.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast at www.marketingtipswithmeliss.com.
Oh, wait, before you go, if you think you'd like to work with the Meliss marketing team one-on-one, I invite you to apply for your first-class strategy call. This process is just as much an interview for us, seeing if you're a great fit for our agency, as it is for you, seeing if we are your great fit. Unlike other agencies, we only take on clients we know we can help. So if you think you're ready to get support with your content creation, lead magnets, sales funnels, and/or Facebook ads, let our agency help you take your business to the next level. Each month, we open up just a few spaces on our client roster for your opportunity to be able to work with our amazing team. Apply now at go.melissmarketing.com/apply, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.